Welcome to Rap in Order, the interrogation of a hip-hop album, where we take some of the culture's most beloved hip-hop albums, put them on the stand, see if they stood the test of time. Now let's see who we got on the stand today.
Order in the court!
Welcome to another episode of Rap in Order. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
And how are you today, good sir?
I'm good, man.
Good.
No complaints, man. You know, had a lot of rain this week.
Oh my God, bro. Didn't, and what happened with that? Like, I know you got some, not too much damage though, right?
Nah, it wasn't too... water, when it rains in my living room now, water comes through my radiator.
Shit, bro. You know what I went through last year.
Yeah, so it's like structural. So
yeah.
It kind of... Yeah, man. My dog, man, sick.
Yeah, no, this year it was... Thank goodness I didn't have to deal.
You're on top flow.
Yeah, I didn't have to deal with anything this year, thankfully. But all the years prior, like I had people texting me this year that think that I'm still in the old place, and they're like, "Yo, just checking on you. I know you probably, you know." And I'm like, "Bro, thank you. I really appreciate it, but you know, I'm not there no more. I don't even know how it is down there. I should have checked.
Right? You should have.
Yeah, I have, bro. I have no idea how it is down there, and I'm just thankful I'm not down there no more." Okay. What did you so I told you I started Gen V.
Yeah, so that show was really good. I finished all 3 episodes. I've read the boys' comic books, so I was kind of a little familiar with the characters, like they tweak things. Yeah. I really like what they're doing. The main actress, what's her name?
Jazz.
That's fine. What's her name? Fine, this young lady.
Yeah, because
she's gorgeous, man.
Jazz Sinclair.
Sinclair, God bless you, sweetheart.
Yeah. Jazz Sinclair. She's killing it. She's doing a really good job. She plays Marie on the show. Only 3 episodes so far, but I like the tone of it so far. I like how the first episode kind of just sets you up for already knowing like how they're even existing in this world for the boys.
Yeah, it's basically like, yo, they don't have a sports team. It's like, nah, you become a superhero like that.
Yeah.
What you do. So I think that was pretty cool. Each character, like their powers, and basically just showing like if people were superheroes, they will be super sexual.
Yeah, for sure. Like when you watch this, and if you're familiar with the boys, you're like, oh, how is this gonna fit into that world? And then if you forget how vulgar the boys was, this will remind you.
Oh yeah, immediately it reminds
you. This is nuts.
Like that.
But I want to see how it goes. I know the writer strike is kind of like letting up right now. It looks like we're coming to some type of stability.
So the writers came to an agreement. The WGA and the ATMP, they came to like an agreement to get things done. Okay. So that's like a sign of that's a good sign, which means that late night TV shows like come back immediately.
I saw, yeah.
Because like sketch comedy shows, late night shows, daytime shows, like. So that stuff is fair game. Then like other TV shows have come back to the table now so they can finish. Like there's a show I watch called Yellow Jackets. So
yeah. You've been trying to get us to watch that for a little while.
I'm trying, man. Mm-hmm. And so the first episode was already done, and then they had to stop. So now they're able to continue the season and continue writing, and then they can start filming. As for the actors, we're still like waiting for them to come to the table with our demands. So, the holiday shutdown is coming. So even with, let's say, like, even if like they like tomorrow, like they say like, all right, the strike's over, like it's still going to be before like a lot of productions get underway again. It's probably not going to be to the new year, realistically.
Okay.
Realistically.
And what about so you mentioned TV. So what about film? Because I know like Deadpool is like one that just popped up in my head.
Oh, I mean, well, like that, they'll probably like find like loopholes, like not loopholes, but like they'll probably like push that because they're like, all right, we need to get this done. Production has 28 days to finish or whatever like that, and they'll probably just get the ball rolling. So certain things take time, but certain movies like are important. So like a movie like Deadpool for Disney could like do wonders because like right now like it's not like they put out flops, but like, you know, they now they're like chasing that Infinity War number.
Yeah,
you know, James Cameron got his foot on their necks.
Yeah, and they've been putting out the live action remakes, which I think Little Mermaid was the only one that like got really good reviews from the live action remakes.
Yeah, and then you got a movie like Barbie that did really good. And like now like they're going hard with like G.I. Joe becoming like a thing again. So it's and like there was like did you watch like the recent Transformers movie?
Nah, was it fire?
It was good. It was good. I watched too many cartoons, so like sometimes my brain I was like that didn't happen, like whatever. But at the end, I'll just say it's out now. You've had time to watch it, so you ain't watched it.
Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. But at the end, there's an Easter egg of a crossover between G.I. Joe and Transformers.
Oh, actually, you know what? I know about that. Somebody at work spoiled that for me.
Okay,
Ben spoiled that for me.
I'm not the person that did.
Yeah.
So there's an Easter egg. There was an Easter egg for that, and so I'm like, damn, man, they could have just had Dom Toretto come in there.
Yo, imagine. Shit.
You know, but yeah, like so like certain films are gonna get like the push and everything like that. Like some of them they're gonna be like, all right, let's take our time with production, but a lot of people need to get back to work. It's not just like the actors and the writers. It's like the guys that work in the rigs and the lighting and the trucks and the scene department, the dressers, the makeup artists, like all of those people, you know, the assistants to the actors, you know. So it's a lot of stuff that like, you know, I hope a lot of my friends can get from under. The holidays are on the way.
Yeah, for sure.
We have some
time
music.
with that. Yeah, we did have some music.
J. Cole and Lil Yachty.
Oof.
The Secret Recipe.
Yeah.
What's J. Cole's problem?
First of all, that's a very awkward beat. That beat is very awkward when you just listen to the beat. But then you listen to the song. How'd you like Yachty on it? J. Cole aside.
Yachty's like an acquired. Like you gotta tell yourself you like Yachty.
Yeah.
Because of what we're trained, like what most of our ears are trained to listen to, hip hop wise, Yachty sounds like a fucking walrus singing.
Yeah.
But you know, the way his voice sounds is so imperfect. It kind of sounds good. It sounds perfect. So it works. I'm not mad at it. It was dope. But like J. Cole has there's something wrong with him.
That nigga left Earth for real.
Yeah, bro. Like he really did. Like he got on there and like really, really, really showed it out. And I'm like, all right, this next project, like he's making sure that like we're put on notice. And like I even in our group chat, Quincy said that J. Cole is on a Lil Wayne feature run. Like,
yeah, bro, I don't like that he said that. Like I get what he's saying, but you know, Quincy get excited.
Yeah.
He just gets to talking. He wrote something about it at like 6 a.m. When I woke up, I'm like, yo, Quincy is already going off about this song.
Yeah.
So if you can compare the time frames, you know, there's nothing like the 07 Wayne run. That was ridiculous. That's a ridiculous, crazy run.
Okay.
I don't think J. Cole's run is comparable to that because he doesn't have as much out. He's had a great run as far as like every time you hear him on a feature, it's great. I don't think that's the same as the type of run that Wayne had.
Okay, so I'll just say the times are different because right now, like what Wayne was doing, Wayne was basically giving people verses as far as just freestyling over shit. And then the person was like, "Yo, we should just make this an official remix." Yeah. Whereas like now everything is so like regulated. So like Cole is literally doing a feature on an original song. So I think that's also part of the difference. But I don't think it's a better run than Wayne. But I do think that he's become like since like I think like the last person that I can think of in memory to go on a feature run like this was 2 Chainz.
Yeah, 2 Chainz run. Yeah, what was that? 2013.
Yeah, and like it's funny because like a lot of people like said don't commend 2 Chainz on his rapping abilities, but like his features were fire. Like,
I mean, and shit, Future.
Yeah, okay.
Future had you can count that 2015. It wasn't like a feature run.
He was doing hooks. He basically became like the new Nate Dogg.
Yeah.
Like, well, he took T-Pain's spot and
that was 2015, 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a couple rappers, but I was like, yo, why is J. Cole? Why was it?
Like, he went crazy.
And then even that bar for NBA YoungBoy, I was kind of like.
Which I didn't catch until the internet told me it was
no, I caught it because I remember when NBA, like when he said it, I was like, oh, he's from NBA. Because Drake would just say, "I don't want to get involved with it. I just did a song with Dirt." Like,
yeah.
NBA YoungBoy took that very personally. So I asked LaShawn what he thought about it. He was like, NBA YoungBoy just want to yell at his phone and point a gun at it or something like that, and get himself in more trouble, even though he's on house arrest.
But he's been on this peace treaty lately though, so I don't know. I don't think he's gonna give it that type of time, but we'll see.
I don't know.
What else dropped that you checked
Shaq
for?
and Kobe, Meek Mill and Rick Ross.
Yeah. Shaq and Kobe. I was very excited for this actually, and I couldn't understand why, because I was like, I mean, I hear Ross tracks, I hear Meek tracks here and there, but something about them being together, I guess I was excited about, because I can't remember the last time that we got that. Yeah,
I'm excited too. I know I give Meek a hard time, pause, but nah, it's just good because they don't give us like whack. They don't collaborate in this whack. So I heard that and I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then I saw that like maybe that music group moved over to Gamma.
Yeah.
And they're over there with Larry Jackson. And Larry Jackson is basically like the new golden child of like urban music right now.
Yeah, Larry Jackson, if I'm not mistaken, he was at Apple Music.
Yeah, with Jimmy Iovine. And then before that he was under Clive Davis. So like right now he's getting a lot of opportunities that like a lot of the black executives in the music industry, like some of them, that their names we don't know, but like him being like put at the forefront. I remember reading in L.A. Reid's book, like how he was saying like he always wanted those opportunities, and they would always just be like, all right, just put him over the black division. And like L.A. Reid was like, I want to run the label, I want to work with every artist.
Yeah.
And it seems like Larry Jackson is getting that look from like what L.A. Reid was describing to me. But it's also nuts because I'm like, yo, L.A. Reid like is like a hit maker. Like, why wouldn't they just let him just run like a label of all music? Why they always put him in the black music division?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, Larry Jackson's doing his thing. But I mean, to your point, we are to the Shaq and Kobe point. Actually, we're getting a joint album from them. It's called Too Good to Be True. They announced it recently, I think, on Apple Music. What are you expecting from this?
For Ross to carry Meek to the finish line.
I'm just interested to see how this is going to go, because this is, some people can say this is like too late, like they should have been.
Yeah, it's definitely too late.
Yeah.
I mean, it's too late, but I'm still going to listen. And I know it's going to be good, and I know like music's going to get played in strip clubs. Music's going to get played. I'll even say that they're going to get a song that's going to get placement in the NBA Finals.
I could see that.
I'm confident that they will, and they're going to get their looks. And I guess this is why like Meek made the decision that he made to like hold back for a couple years with his music, because he said that he was doing it. He was like, I'm going independent. Like, I think he was like learning like a lot of like behind the scenes shit, and it made him just feel like, you know what, I'm not going to keep giving away this music for free. I'm going to make sure everything I do, I'm going to get like every dollar I'm owed. So let's see. I'm curious. It has my attention. I have my thoughts. Me and LaShawn had an argument because I said that Lil Baby passed Meek and he's doing what Meek is supposed to do.
Oh shit!
LaShawn said I shouldn't have said that. He told me I was dead wrong. It's a couple other things that I've said, but I mean, I fuck with Meek. I just think that Meek just, I don't know, he be missing the mark on like where he's supposed to be at. It's kind of like what people say about like what Bleak getting the alley.
Yeah. But I will say, to Meek's credit, he has I'll say one really good album. Championships was really good. And I think what was the one, something more than money? I forget. What was that shit called? It was the red cover.
Pain. Not Expensive Pain. Expensive Pain was the last project. Dreams Worth More Than Money.
Dreams Worth More Than Money was pretty good.
Okay.
And Wins and Losses wasn't bad.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. He's had some shit out there. I think to his credit, he's tried in the past. He tries different shit. I mean, that's the only thing that I'll push back on when it comes to the Meek and like Bleak comparison.
Okay.
Who else came out you checked for?
Well, I mean, Wayne dropped a project. He dropped the Fix Before the 6. I didn't like it.
Sloppy.
I didn't like it. And then I think the thing that sucks is that like now that they've gotten rid of mixtapes, like I want to hear Wayne rap over other people.
Because that's what this would have been.
Yeah.
Because like that's basically what Sorry for the Wait was.
Yeah.
because the Carter series kept getting pushed back. So he came out, he created the Sorry for the Wait series just to like hold people over, and he was rapping over people's shit.
Yeah, I don't know. He needs to figure out how to get clearances or something, or explain to the executives like this, like it is what
like this is my
excited.
bag, yeah.
Or at least just be like, yo, he's on Universal. Be like, yo, give me clearance on every like beat that I want from a Universal artist. So like it's not like fucking us over. But
yeah, I don't even think he's asking. He's just going in and just rapping.
Yeah, man. I don't know, man.
Well, I guess that's it for rap albums that are notable. But for today, we're gonna take it back to 2001. 2001 was the year that saw a lot of rappers make like their big debuts and kind of just keep going with like what they kind of already laid the foundation for. What comes to mind for 2001 is Jadakiss. Well, that's I guess that gives us our coverage for hip hop releases currently, but we're gonna take it back to 2001. 2001 was a year that saw a lot of MCs like really step up to the plate, whether it's for their debuts or like for like kind of fulfilling what they already had set in stone. You had Jadakiss came out with Kiss the Game Goodbye that year, I think in August of that year. But then you had somebody like Beanie Sigel, who released his second album that year. And that's the album that we're going to get into today with The Reason. The Reason came out in June of 2001. It had features from pretty much the whole Rockefeller family. And outside of them, you had Scarface on the album. And The Reason debuted at number 5 that year. It sold like 158,000 copies, which is crazy to debut at number 5 and sell that much.
Yeah,
that would be the number 1 album today.
Yeah, that don't happen no more.
Yeah, like 158,000 is nuts. But it was ranked as one of the best hardcore rap albums of 2001, which goes to show you like it was a really small window.
Yeah,
but it was it was ranked. It was ranked back then. And then you had like superstar producers on this thing. You had Kanye. You had Just Blaze, of course. You had, let me see here. Who am I missing? Kanye, Just Blaze. Damn, I thought I wrote it down. Okay. Yeah, so you had Kanye, you had Just Blaze, you had No ID, you had Sha Money, you had 88 Keys, you had Rick Rock. And those are like the bulk of the names that like carried this album. 14 tracks long. I was a really big fan of this album back then because I was a really big Siegel fan. So like just seeing his progression and like feeling like he was always in that like number 2 or 3 spot on the roster, but he always shined, man, especially with features, and his voice was crazy. It's unfortunate to see like how his voice is now. It just doesn't carry the same weight. But speaking to this time, to this era, to this essence of Beans as a rapper, how did you feel about this album?
So when this album came out, I listened to it and I knew that it was good. One of my best friends, Tyson, shout out to Ty, was a huge Beanie Sigel fan. Like I think that he watched Paper Soldiers like
same
so many fucking times. Like he just like he embodied Beans like so and state property and shit. So when I first had listened to it, I was like I was more drawn in by the production on the album. And so with that, like I knew like Beans was talking his shit, and like I remember at that time a lot of my friends were like, yo, Beans is better than Hove. Like a lot of my friends, and they was like, "Why you think he battling Jadakiss?" Like, you know, like in the lunchroom arguments, like you know, they was making those valid like takes and shit like that. They was like, the trajectory of what Beans was doing, like he was supposed to like take off. Like so, you know, this project was very very like well received. It definitely went platinum in the hood, and I just think that like. Beans is an interesting person to me because like he said that like he don't like you know how like some of the dudes they be like yo I'm not a rapper I'm not like nah like Beans like said that he would like go to like you know certain like studio sessions and shit like that and whatever raps he had those are the raps he was gonna get and that was it like he wasn't like Mr. like sit down and like he would do shit while he was out handling shit in the street, go home, write, tell those stories, and then going to the studio and record. Like he wasn't like, you know what I'm saying, like how Jay or like a Scarface was, where like they, you know, oh, what's my inspiration? Like Beans was going off of like real life shit, telling those stories, and then that's that.
Mm-hmm.
He was just a very unique artist to me, and then like he has like one of the most unique rap voices vocally like ever. So this project, the production was the main standout to me though. Production, and you think about it, like No ID, Kanye, Just Blaze, 88 Keys, like that's, you know what I'm saying, like that. Like if somebody says that they have that production team now today,
it's insane. I even forgot about the back-to-back on the production on this album. I was like, holy shit. Like, this dude had the ultimate cheat code having these in-house producers on this shit. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
They laced him with like some really good beats. And like back then, I feel like the standard for Rockefeller albums was like 13 or 14 songs.
Yeah. And then I also think that a lot of stuff with, I think a lot of stuff for Beans, Jay like would let Beans do it first and test it out. So like if you think about it, like a lot of the producers that he worked with, Jay would work with them after Beans. Like he would hear how Beans did it and was like, oh, I got it. Like, give me that. Like he used them for a lot of the state property rappers. Like I saw Bleak say, they asked Bleak about the young, you know, taking Young Chris's flow. And like Bleak was like, how? He's Jay already, which I agree with. Jay-Z was Jay-Z, but like Jay definitely heavily leaned on state property for inspiration.
I agree.
Ideas, like, you know, I understand that, like, you know, steel sharp as steel, so it's whatever, but like state property definitely laid a lot of the groundwork. And what Beanie Sigel did on his first two albums definitely, I think, set up the tone for the blueprint.
Yeah, I agree. I think when Bleak said that, like, he was kind of leaving out the fact that, like, yes, of course, Hov was already Hov, but you could see, even as Hov, you could see like a flow and be inspired by it.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the common thing that people were saying was that he bit Young Chris's whole style. Like he just took that flow and he did something with it, and he fucked around with it for like Blueprint 2.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
like Blueprint 2, like you can listen to it and think that it actually is Chris rapping.
Yeah, it was just mostly Blueprint 2. And like you see glimmers of it like later on, but that's it. It was just a little flow that he took. And I think that's natural. Like you could take from your homies that you're around all the time, presumably, you know, like just borrow from them.
It was like a recharge, because you got to think about it. By the time the Blueprint came out, a lot of rappers fizzle out in their careers. The Blueprint was what, Jay's 5th album?
Yeah.
If you think about it on average, the average rapper burns out by their 5th album. So Young Chris coming around was actually like a huge blessing for Jay.
Yeah, it was new energy. Young Chris was like 16, 17 when he joined Rockefeller.
Yeah, he was like a junior in high school.
But yeah, I think that's natural, right? To borrow from, you know, your counterparts. It make you stronger in a way. But to get into this album, like I said, 14 tracks, kicks off with Nothing Like It. Nothing Like It is produced by Kanye West. You shaking your head with?
One of the best intro tracks like
ever. I thought we was about to argue about this. Like, this intro is like I'll get chills every time it comes on. Like it's such a good intro. Like it's everything that I love about Beans on this song.
Absolutely. And I also, like, when I'm listening to this album, I'm like, damn, like if we would have got a whole album of just Kanye and Beanie Sigel. I mean, like, I think that's what the beat coming should have been.
Yeah, and Kanye loves Beanie Sigel. Well, back then, like, I don't know how he feels now, but I know he loved Beans. Like, he really loved and respected Beans.
Yeah.
You remember that when it was kind of on the outs because Beans kept saying that Kanye was gay?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it was on Smack DVD, I think.
Yeah.
And he was like, bro, like, you know, Beans, I don't really fuck around. I'm not gonna fuck with Beans because I mean that's he a street dude. Like he don't really play that. But bro, I'm just saying, like, I'm not gay. He's like, bro, that's all I'm saying. Like, but he don't fuck around. But I gotta defend myself. And I'm like, Yo, that's real.
Bro, like,
I respect that.
Imagine somebody just keep calling you gay.
Mhm.
Like that's and it's like, there's nothing wrong with being gay, but like, that's just like, imagine that you're a gay person, somebody's like, you straight. And like, then you gonna get annoyed.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. So like, yeah, he just was like, bro, he was trying in the most peaceful way to say, listen, like, he gotta stop calling me that.
Yeah. and I think he then remember Beans was getting at Drake because Drake was on a song with Hov basically addressing him, and he was like, "Yo, you know what Jay was saying?" I was like, "You don't know when Jay recorded that verse,
and
you
don't even know if Drake heard it." That's crazy. Beans was wild, but
he really
that was like 09, I think.
He really is the Broad Street bully, bro, and like that's hilarious. Because I'm a veer off a little bit, just a tiny bit. So in doing research, I watched a lot of Beanie Sigel interviews, and I came across his interview with Taxstone, when Beans was basically telling the whole story about what happened with him and Meek, and like it just was so bugged out to like basically like find out that like Beanie Siegel's not superhuman, and like
that backstage thing,
because his man, Meek's man snuck him, but it was just crazy because like Beans was talking, he was like, "Yo, a lot of my like greatest knockouts is not on camera." He said, "I would go city to city and just knock niggas out," and I was just like, "What?" Like I just thought that was funny as hell. Like damn, like okay, like Beans is tough, and like he wanted it to be known because like everybody was like, "Yo, I can't believe that." And you watched the video. I watched it. Like the dude definitely snuck Beans.
Yeah, he did.
But
that video was tough to watch, man, because like you, like, and I think like a lot of people that are fans of Beans or like from that era of hip hop, Beans is looked at as such a strong person. Like he's just like mad intimidating. I still just, when I think of Beanie, I think of the image of him when he's first introduced in backstage. When he's walking.
No, I wasn't backstage. That was MTV My Life. My Diary.
Oh, the Diary.
MTV Diary.
Yes. Well, when he's looking at the camera and he's walking.
Yeah, they're like it was a show that Jay had in North Carolina. The only reason I know this story because also that was a D Haven story about when Jay and D Haven stopped fucking with each other.
Okay.
And somebody like threw a drink and it hit Beans, and Beans.
Oh, and he jumped over.
Yeah, and he beelines.
No, so yeah. so
different stories.
Things.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. I know about that because Jay was like, man, I had to go get him. I remember that. But I'm talking about when they first bring him up in backstage and he's fighting with somebody already.
Right.
He's fighting with somebody, they pull him off, and then he turns around and he's walking and he's just looking at the camera, like locked eyes with the camera walking past it. And I'm like, bro, this dude, like, and that's the image I get of Beans.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Short braid beanie.
Yeah.
No, was he Caesar braid beanie then or short braid?
He was Caesar. He had
Caesar?
A Caesar.
Okay.
He had a dark Caesar back then. Nothing like it, man. Raw emotion. The instrumental, I feel like when he just heard the instrumental, it just called for it. Like, it's just the flow. It's just one of my favorite rap album intros ever.
Which joint project would you have rather gotten from Beans? The Mac and Brad or the Memphis Bleak and Beans?
Mac and Brad for sure.
Mac and Brad.
And this album, hearing this album solidified that for me because they got the song on here, Mom Praying.
Okay.
They got the song on here called Mom Praying, him and Scarface. But the song with the EPMD sample with him and Bleak.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Shout out to EPMD, Eric Sherman in Paris. Yo, first of all, I thought it was funny. Like, if a lot of people don't catch it when he calls himself the Gooch, if you watch Different Strokes, the bully in the show is named the Gooch. So I know a lot of people will scream out, "Yo, pause!" But nah, the Gooch was really like putting Arnold under pressure on Different Strokes. So B's calling himself that. I'm like, yeah, that nigga definitely is the fucking Broad Street bully.
For real. Damn, yo, they're back and forth on this. It's so fucking nice. Man, I really enjoyed Bleak as a rapper, man.
Yeah, I did
really
too.
like Bleak as a rapper.
I just like I was saying off camera, I just think that like Bleak was just old. He knew that Jay was his big brother, essentially, and that he was good. He just had to fall in line, and like he just didn't. He was like, "Yo, I'm comfortable," but like on his later Drink Champs interview, he said that he regrets like not taking a lot of leaps of faith in certain things.
Yeah, he did. That was a really good interview.
Yeah.
He's been on there like 3 times.
It's been
already.
3 times, and like I'm like, damn, like there's so many things that they have to add different things to ask him, and they actually get to it. But I just think the other thing that I thought was funny when he kept telling niggas about the breakup, like, I'm telling you, he's out of here.
Yeah. He was like, yo, the part that was so funny when he said, he was like, yo, when we was at, he was like, it was super convenient how they cut that out of Fade to Black, but Dame was giving us all the speech like, oh, this can be y'all next. This how y'all gonna go out. And he's like, no, the fuck is not. That's hope. Like, none of us is hope. Like, you giving these niggas false hope. He was like, yo, I went behind him and I spoke to all of them.
He's probably bringing the girl up.
He was like, yo, I went behind him and I spoke to all of them and made sure that they knew, like, none of us is like this nigga. Like, I thought that was so fucking funny because it's like, it's a realism pill. You know, it's a tough pill to swallow, but it's just like, bro, like, for real, that's Hov.
I just snuff bleed.
None of us did that. None of us did that work. Like that, he did that work. He put out an album every year.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, this with this EPMP sample was Flip by Just Blaze. Incredible.
So the song I Don't Do Much is
that's my shit.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And that's like one of the songs that like my boy Ty would play all the time because that's Ty. Like Ty move at his own pace. Some people will call it lazy, but Ty calls it smart because he does just enough to whatever he got to do. And he maximizes everything. Like works smarter, not harder. And like I Don't Do Much is like the epitome of that. Like Beans is just like, yo, I just do what I got to do, and it's never no more, no less. And I just was like, all right, cool.
It's an anthem for niggas like that. Like, for real. Like it's such a laid back. Like the beat.
Monitor on, yeah. Okay, we still going.
The beat is kind of You good?
Yeah, I just gotta keep this shit short.
The beat is super laid back. It's super like it's just the vibe of it. I'm just like when I first heard it, I was like, what is this giving me right now? What is this? But you just appreciate that pocket the more you listen to it. Anything I see, we skipped right over Beanie Mac Bitch, which was a single.
That's a fucking bop. That was just fucking dope. It gave like Shaft vibes and shit like that. A Superfly,
especially the video.
Yeah,
the video.
Like I think that's what they was going for with it. And it's funny because if I'm not mistaken, Beans didn't like, you know what I'm saying, his name over and over again and shit like that. And it's funny because like for some reason like rappers don't like that shit. Bleak has said it. I think Jay has said it like I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Like that's like a rite of passage if you a rapper.
Yeah. Nori always tells the story about how he passed up on Jigga, that nigga, Jigga. He always tells that story. And I always think it's so funny, like Nori, that nigga Nori. And he's like, nah, I don't need it.
Should have took it.
Yeah, he should have took that.
Should have took it.
But it probably wouldn't have been the same. What else? Oh, Daz Dillinger on here.
Yes.
On the For My Niggas song, which is like a
that was exclusive for me.
Yeah,
it was. It didn't. Daz Dillinger like is like arguably to me like one of the most slept on rap producers of all time.
I was just gonna say the same. Yeah,
and talent. So like it was just kind of like disappointing. It seemed like they just was like, yo, I fuck with you. I fuck with you. Like they.
Yo, you going tomorrow?
Yeah. Smooth things.
That's what I was gonna ask you, but you said you get out at 3.
Yeah. Like they basically had like a I fuck with you off.
Yeah.
And like I think like they was like, yo, let's get in the lab and record. And then also Corrupt cut a song with him, and I think that was dope. And to me, Corrupt, if Daz is one of the most underrated producers, that Corrupt is one of the most underrated and underappreciated like rappers, period.
I think so too. I think he gets a lot of respect when he's brought up. Yeah. But he's not just brought up like out of nowhere.
Right. And then the fact that like, you know, he's from Philly and he moved to the West Coast. So like he's super lyrical, but he has like a Cali accent because he lived out there most of his life. So yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of that song.
Yeah. So you talking about Gangsta?
Yeah, Gangsta. Gangsta. Like, I'm sorry, I just read right into that. You know,
nah, Gangsta is like Gangsta is on my runners playlist.
Really?
Like, still, it's been on there because as soon as it comes on, it's just like boom, and it's produced by Kanye. It puts you right in a moment. Who wanna fuck with the Fat Boy of the Rock? Like, it's just like right away, puts you right in it. It's high octane. Like, it's super. It has a lot of energy to it that I fuck with. What else is on here that stands out? How'd you feel about Man's World? Produced by No ID. It's the James Brown flip.
Let's see what I wrote here for Man's World. Mm-hmm. If I did, okay. What the fuck was that?
It's the light.
Oh well. I just wrote like, yo, it's one of the perfect sample flips by No ID. Like, it just is like masterful. It's something where like I'm just like all right, no, like if you like watch Star Wars, like he's a Jedi master. Like, and you could tell like, all right, Kanye, like he definitely like tutored Kanye, and like he's like the Grand Master. Like, you don't gotta like it's very subtle and everything, and like he's like his production is like how his demeanor is very quiet to himself kind of dude.
No idea is super quiet. He just does his thing,
and especially for somebody like Beans, who's very much like a man's man, to give him this track, very on point, very 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 strong.
For sure. Think It's a Game. Jay-Z, Freeway, and Young Chris.
Yeah.
Produced by Big Demi.
Yo,
this is one of the highlights on this album for me.
Yeah, I just think that besides, like, I remember there was an interview with Jay said that like he wanted Beans to be like how Rick Ross is.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get that out of my head because I definitely get what Jay was saying, but I just think that certain dudes have like a business mind or like something like that, and then you have some guys where they're just like, you know, like they're like an attack dog. Not calling Beans a dog, but just saying that like Beans is a general, but he's a wartime general. And I think for Beans, a lot of his shortcomings came because like he was like really, really living his raps, and he couldn't like maneuver how to take a step back and understand that there was money to be made, and there was a lot of business that he needed to get in order because he was so comfortable. He felt like things would never end, like a lot of people with Rockefeller.
Beans, I ain't trying to change you, just give you some game.
Right. It's a lot of things that kind of just went over his head, and then sometimes I just wonder, I'm like, yo, when y'all was all around Jay, like, y'all didn't just ask Jay, like, yo, what you mean by that, bro? Because like he had an interview and said that he never understood that.
Oh yes, yeah, that line.
Yeah.
And he said he didn't realize it till like later.
Yeah, like that's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
it's so there. The nigga gave y'all the blueprint.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Is very, I just really think that they, you know, it was like a family thing. I got a question for you though. Why do you think that Hov didn't like get a crew out of Marcy or out of Brooklyn and instead went to Philly and got a crew of rappers from Philly to put on?
That's interesting. I don't think so. When I was watching Bleak's interview and he was talking about like Marcy and everything like that, like wasn't Daven from over there?
Yeah.
Right. So like he had his early relationship with DeHaven, but that crumbled. I think he had his relationship with
Sauce Money.
Yeah, with Sauce Money. He had
Beans. I mean, Bleak brought on G to K. He was from there. I guess I just wonder, like, you know, I know Philly's right there down I-95, but I'm like, damn, like, I know at one point like Philly was just like busting at the seams with talent. Like there was so many people, like major figures, Gilly the Kid and all those guys coming out. But like I just always like wondered to myself, like, damn, like you was, you know what I'm saying, like you from New York, you in the Mecca. Like you know, there's so many artists that from New York that he could have got a group of like dope rappers and put them on, but like he got, you know, Beans, and then like as we find out now, like we thought all these guys grew up together in Philly, but we find out like no, like pretty much put them together like a boy band.
Yeah.
Like,
which is the case for like most of those groups that we grew up liking.
Yeah, like we just think I'm thinking like they all went to high school together, like how like Jadakiss Styles and Sheek did.
Yeah.
Like, but nah, like they didn't know each other. Even, you know, we hear Philly you know, when you hear other cities and stuff like that, you don't think like, oh, like this is like far, like maybe this person is like, you know, like another, you know, some people in New York have never been to Brooklyn.
Right.
But like you don't think about that in other places because you think it's so small because you know, as New Yorkers, we just think we are the center of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
So I just always, it just always was like very funny to me or whatever.
That is interesting though. Like he didn't make it his business to build out of Marcy.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It just was interesting to me with that, you know, and maybe like Jay had his reasons and everything, but it's just funny because like, you know what I'm saying? Like when Cam was able to put the Harlem Diplomats on, everybody was either from Harlem or some part of uptown.
Yeah. I think, or maybe it was like the original idea that just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I also want to know another thing. I want to know how the fuck was like they made Beanie Sigel the face of state property, but he had no ownership or anything like that. And like I just want to understand that. Like Beans has said, like he don't have no ownership of state property. Like, you know, they're called state property, but like no, he don't. And and when we look at it, he really don't. So like,
who had property of it?
Huh?
Who owned it?
J. Damon Biggs.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, like it was like Beans had no claim to that or anything like that. You know, the clothing line and all that stuff. Like, he was the face of it.
But. Yeah, he was, to the point where I thought when I was growing up, I thought it was Beanie Siegel's clothing. Mm-hmm. And it was catered to people that are Beanie Siegel's like size. Yeah, every shirt was like a 3X.
Yeah, they didn't even make smalls. Yeah.
All them shits was big as hell. But yeah, that's crazy though. I think I remember him talking about that. I think they made him the face because they wanted it to appeal to. They wanted it to be like real streetwear, like real like.
Yeah, like they had secret pockets to hide weed and shit like that, right? Yeah. Speaking of state property, Tales of a Hustler. Oh man, I loved Emilio Sparks, bro.
I did too.
I really wanted him and Oskino to like come out. I really thought we was gonna get that. You know, they were like the adult Young Guns, but like we didn't get that. And I know like they have shit on a hard drive somewhere. It's like I know Just Blaze has a hard drive with mad music on the niggas and other stuff.
Just Blaze is ridiculous. The way he hoards music that he has is crazy. And then he'll do an interview and just like mention it, and internet be on fire for like 3 weeks, and then he just never puts it out.
I wish that it was like a rule that recorded music, like after a certain amount of time that isn't put out, has to be put out, or it has to be at least like auctioned off. Yeah, to be bought, and like someone could decide what they want to do with it.
There will be so many upset artists if that was the case.
You gotta make a vote like Prince then, so other people can't get it. If you in somebody's studio, I feel like if whatever studio you recording, if they like own the masters to the records, like after a certain amount of time, if you don't put it out, it gets put out.
Yeah, that'd be fucked up.
I'm sorry.
Tales of a Hustler is very, very good. Emilio Sparks had a really dark life. Like he was one of those rappers that I remember reading an interview back then in XXL that he did, or was it The Source, about him like being shot, and like he was shot like maybe 8 times or something like that. And
take that 50 Cent.
Right, and so one of the reasons why he said that he never talks about it was because at the time when he was trying to get his solo career, that was 50's story. So he never wanted to talk about it because he was like, well, this is already in everybody's face right now. Right. Like, I don't want to talk about it, and then it'd be like I'm trying to like cash in on some shit when this is my life. So he was kind of stuck there too, where he couldn't talk about this part of his life, or felt like he couldn't.
He should have. Kanye talked about that car crash for. I think they didn't stop talking about the car crash until after late registration.
Yeah.
Like it stopped even being a bar and all of that shit. It just stopped being talked about.
To the point where people started questioning if it even happened.
Oh yeah, they said Kanye got beat up and got his jaw broken.
Yeah, that's crazy. What else on here that you
still got love for you? The sequel to Where You Been. Oh man. Do you remember the story that Beans told about his pops like stepping to him about it?
About the song, yeah.
Yeah, I think that was very interesting.
Yeah, he starts off track 16 Dynasty album, and I was like, damn, all right, here you go. You know, I thought that was very interesting, very, very interesting, and I like Jay's angle. You never hear Hov tap into this type of emotion unless he's with Beans.
Yeah, and or Face
or Face. Yeah,
but I just, it was really like intriguing because like it made like a lot of guys like self-reflect on like their relationships with their fathers or they don't have with their fathers. And like now as a older man and like hearing this shit, I'm just like, damn, like they was, because they was kids as well, like just like, what I'm saying, like putting shit out there in the universe and stuff like that. And somebody like Beans, like, he's saying that and this nigga Pops is able to walk up on him in the street and be like, yo,
what's up?
Don't ever invite me to your dick again.
Yeah. Pretty much. And he was like, yo, nah, I was wilding for that part, but you gotta understand this. Like, it's, man, to pull from your life in that way and then put it on wax like this and do it twice. Yeah. Like, because he did that shit and then said, you know what? Nah, yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah. It was pretty smart, and like obviously I think other artists have done it in some way, but this way it was just like an open letter, and like a lot of people felt it and it spoke to a lot of people. And I think that's things that should just definitely be spoken about more. It was their kind of therapy and shit like that, and it worked.
Yeah, agreed. Shit. And then that even carried into the last track on this album, which is What Your Life Like Part 2. Just Blaze closes it out. Another classic raw emotion Beanie Sigel song.
Yeah. Basically Beans to me is like the embodiment of feeding the streets. Like he's like pre T.I., Jeezy, and like in that realm where like basically like he's like what Meek is now to like the streets and Lil Baby, like what he was basically like talking about these struggles and like a lot of the lingo and shit that he said. And he pretty much giving you like a step-by-step guide to navigate the streets.
Yeah.
And I thought that was cool. Something that I wanted to go back to more, right? I want to go back to the track that we were just talking about. So on Still Got Love For You, the sample, right? It's an Isaac Hayes song. It's called Ike's Mood.
Yeah.
Now, do you know that 182 artists have sampled this song, different parts of it, because it's like a 7-minute just instrumental.
Oh, shit.
So Mary J. Blige, I Love You, Foxy Brown, Letter to the Firm, Down to My Niggas by Snoop Dogg, and No Limit, Nas's Reach Out, Biz Markie's Make the Music With Your Mouth, pause, and the Hustle and Flow song, Whoop That Trick.
Sheesh. No, I didn't know that.
Like, I'm sorry, I thought that was so impressive that, like, and there's more, like, notable artists, but, like, they've used different parts of it. Yeah. And, like, producers have, like, chopped it up. Like, what the fuck was
Because it just goes on. Yo, Isaac Hayes got a lot of those. He has this song called The Joy. The Joy is, I want to say 17 minutes long, 17 or 18 minutes long. And it's, like, very minimal on words. It's just production. So it's just like rappers go crazy over shit like that because they can take any part of that.
Take any part of that, and it's like so like you can. Sometimes you can pretty much make like 4 or 5 different songs because there's so many different parts that a person will hear. And like shout out to Detroit, your man Jay Dilla was like a genius in like doing that with his beats and shit. Yeah, that's who you want to know what's crazy. That's who Beans probably like. Shit! Oh my god, I would have loved to hear him like in the lab with Dilla though, like not like now, like you know what I'm saying, like post his death, like in the lab. I think Dilla would have loved Beans.
Beans and Dilla would be crazy. Yeah. Sheesh, because Beans like original Beans.
Because Beans is kind of like the pioneer of using the soul sample. Yeah, like Jay made it mainstream, but like Beans, you know what I'm saying, like was giving these placements first.
Yeah, it was the contrast of his voice being so gritty over these like beautiful soul samples. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, perfect. Like I said a couple episodes ago, when it sounds dirty, like and Beans definitely like tapped into that and definitely did that.
Damn, yeah, that would have been amazing. Sheesh.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this was a good listen. It was a good revisit to 2001. 2001 was a very, very good year. I didn't have to pay bills yet.
Same. 2001 was
great.
2001, of course, it had some very unfortunate events, but like music-wise, like you got Fab's debut album came out that year, which I liked at the time because I was a big Fab fan. Like I said already.
Damn. Huh? Have we done that Fab album? We did Loso's Way and what else?
I don't think we did Ghetto Fabulous. I don't think it's aged very well, but I'm open to it. I am very open to it. I was a huge Fab fan at the time. But yeah, so this album, man, this album just took me back, man. It's hard to detach the nostalgia from this album. It's such a good listen for me because, like I said, I was a huge Beanie Sigel fan, and I love when he tapped it. It's not the type of re-listenable music because there's very dark moments on this album. The storytelling, the emotion, all the pockets that he gets into on this album is not like for your listening pleasure in a way that's that you can just hit the replay button.
Oh yeah. It's definitely when it's raining outside.
Yes,
music.
But it's so intentional. Like you got an album like The Truth. The Truth was so raw. He had that "Remember Them Days" song with Eve, which was fucking incredible.
Right.
But and it was just so raw. Like you had The Truth, and I love how he built on that, and then he made The Reason, and then later on The Becoming. Like it just the way he tried to excel in his career was dope. And it's unfortunate that like he's never gonna be this type of artist anymore.
Nah.
But I'm happy that I got this out of him.
Yeah, Bean said that he's interested into like doing something with AI.
Nah, man.
If he writes the words.
If he writes it, okay. I mean, I would listen. Initially, I feel a way about it, but I would listen.
Okay.
I'll listen just to see how it sounds.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, because he still got his pen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He can still write.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll hurt.
We'll see. So overall, what's your rating for this album?
4 out of 5 waffles. Mm-hmm. It's not too many flaws on the project. Mm-hmm. It's just that like it's just missing certain things. You want to know what I like? One thing that Beans didn't utilize that I wish he did: skits on his projects.
You think skits would have tied into this?
Absolutely.
Even though this album is an hour long, but it's a really quick listen. It feels quick.
Yeah, it's a quick listen. I think like skits because this could have been like more cinematic. And that kind of tone, I think skits would have worked on this project.
Okay.
And like I said again, like there's like certain like the low points on this album are very like far for like there's not a lot. There's 2 low points on the project, but I can't say that this is like a perfect rap album or anything like that. So that's why I'm saying like 4 out of 5 waffles is very good. It's very high, guys. Don't bite my head off.
I'll actually echo that and give it a 4 out of 5. I fucking love this album. I mean, it's not a perfect rap album. There's a lot of albums that I love that aren't perfect. And it's just like, I have my reasons for it. But like I've already said, like at the top of this, like my love and respect for Sigel for what he was and how he contributed to street rap was just so unique because it was from his perspective. I believed every word he said.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just decorative raps. It wasn't just like rapping hardcore shit just for the sake of it. I felt like that was really his life at the time, and he was just laying it out. And it was raw and it had so much emotion, and none of this shit I can relate to. But that's what I like about it. I think it's an escape. His life was an escape for me, and it's like I'm very grateful that I got this album. So I give it a 4 out of 5. By no means, like we said, is it perfect? It's not perfect, but I do highly recommend it. Sigel as a rapper, I think, is something that gets kind of lost. I don't know what it is with the Rockefeller artists from the past. If you're not Kanye, if you're not Hov, obviously, that their catalogs don't get talked about as much.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah, even Freeway. Freeway had a really good first album. But their catalogs kind of just get forgotten about. And I think this album is worth revisiting. And let us know what you guys think. Drop us a comment. Go listen to it. Let us know what you think. I'm First Class Regg.
And I'm Taurian B.
We out of here.
Catch you guys next time. Dun dun.